Hello. So we are the group 5 from SE3BE, and today we're going to discuss the commonly used activities in an ESP program. Okay, okay, next.
So for the
Okay,
list of
so
commonly used activities in ESP program, um, first, number one, role play and simultation. So here, students assume a different role. For example, a student pilot may assume the role of the captain and give orders to his crew or report coordinates to the air traffic control tower. So, so here, role play and simultations are forms of experiential learning that allows students to explore concepts, practice skills, um, relate to others, and see multiple perspectives to engage in the various modes of learning in the classroom. There is actually a difference between simultations and role play. A simultation is where students act out a real life situation. For example, buying groceries at supermarket. You need to act out buying groceries at a supermarket, but you do not need to act out a different personality. While role plays are where students can take on different roles or personality from his or her normal one by playing the part of a different personality. For example, one student may be asked to take on the role of an angry customer, which is out of character for the student. So role play and simultation is a great activity for ESP learners to give them scope for practicing their skills and an interesting way to build their confidence and develop their fluency. It is also practice to practice their transition into using English in real world situations. Um, Viliana and Miss
Number
Tamayo, if
two,
would you like to add?
addition lang, the students in role play and simultation, the students will assume any role of what they want to be in order for them to fully utilize and practice what they need to say in English fluently.
Okay, and for the number 2, which is case studies. Next.
for number two, case study. This activity is common in business, medicine, and law. A case study it is a piece of information that students may be asked to publish on behalf of a company. It outlines the success story of the organization, and it also reflects how particular companies started from zero and reached the hero stage. It also involves studying the facts of a real life case, discussing the issues involved, and coming up with a decision or plan. In addition, a case study is a subcategory of research design which investigates problem and offers solution. It also uh, range from academic research studies to corporate promotional tools. Therefore, the case study is particularly useful to employ when there is a need to obtain an in-depth appreciation of an issue, event, or phenomenon of interest in its natural real-life context. Kyla and Tamayo, is there need to add?
Also, in case studies, the student will need to study the facts of real case scenarios, discuss every variable that is connected to the topic or issue, and provide a solution or a plan for their chosen topic or issue.
Okay. Any addition?
Let's move on to the next part.
Okay. Thank you very much, Tamayo, Villena, and Valias. And now, let's proceed to the third one. Hello, guys.
So for number three, project work. Here, students work on a particular project which may include out of the class activities. Then students are expected to construct manuals which explain how it works and or discuss how their project was made. Project activity is basically a milestone, a section, or a task that has many subtasks under it. In simple words, any activity that requires a number of tasks to be completed in order to complete that activity is known as a project activity. For the next part is the oral presentation. Oral presentation are relevant to activities above. Students may present or even defend a particular product or issue. Here, students are exposed to possible academic or work environments that they may face in the future. Oral uh, presentation helps students to focus on their pronunciation and clarity, and also to boost their confidence. This type of activity is useful since ESP students will surely have to make presentation in other classes in college and or in their future job. So, are there any additional information to add?
In addition, oral presentation, the students need to defend what they have created that may also face in the future. This may be an academic work like a thesis or academic writing or a work environment.
Lastly, oral presentation are a form of assessment that calls on students to use the spoken word to express their knowledge and understanding of a topic.
Okay. And now let's proceed to the next one. So, and now, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
And now let's tackle the other relevant principles and issues in ESP methodology. So the first one is knowledge for content. So I will read the definition first. One difficult reality in terms of ESP is the teacher's lack of knowledge about the content of a particular discipline or field of study. So the first one is the knowledge of content, and this is one of the concern in ESP language teachers, and it is understandable because the teachers are language majors, so it will be really difficult for him or her to have mastery of the content. So the solution for this concern, or the best way to address this issue, is to approach someone who is expert on the subject matter. A subject matter expert or a content specialist can help the teacher to design appropriate lessons in the subject matter field. Also, an ESP teacher must show a great mastery of the content because they are not just a normal teacher. They play many roles inside the classroom. They may be asked to organize courses or set learning objectives, and to establish a positive learning environment inside the classroom, and to evaluate the students' progress. Um, to paraphrase, in order to teach ESP classes, teachers need to develop a special approach of teaching English through specialized content, thus mastering both content and pedagogy. So before we proceed to the second one, Mary Joy will add something.
Okay. Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, yes, loud and clear.
Okay. To add on, I think that content for knowledge extends beyond the understanding what of subject matter and how to teach it to include knowledge of various specialized discipline that ESP serves. Kasi mahirap for teachers to teach content that they are unfamiliar with or have not fully mastered. And it can result na mahirapan din yung mga student in acquiring the knowledge. So Dave said earlier, I think teacher can exploit background knowledge in their language teaching and can also seek help from specialists to to create a subject matter or to create a subject matter to support a particular discipline.
Okay, and now let's proceed to the next one, which is the teacher talk. So since ESP courses are communicative in nature, teachers are expected to be facilitators rather than classroom authorities. So teacher talk is the language typically used by ESP teachers in the process of teaching. So teachers use talk to determine what students know and what they still need to know. Teacher talk is also an opportunity to use questions, prompts, and cues to help students complete tasks. It's like the primary means to control the learner's behavior. And teacher talk is also a good way to motivate the students and to boost their confidence. And also, as we can saw in the definition, it says that teachers are expected to be facilitators rather than classroom authorities. So an ESP classroom is expected to be student centered instead of a teacher centered environment. So, do you want to add something, Ms. Villasquez?
No, nasabi mo na lahat.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. So, the third one.
So moving on for the last one, learners' cognitive and emotional involvement. Tasks and activities should make the student feel successful at the end of the program. So essentially, this is one of the things that we must always keep in mind when teaching. We we should always keep that we are interconnected or engaged with the learner's learning development in some way. And I think to ensure the task or um, the learner's involvement success, we should include an activity that can be integrated to their. For example, if you are familiar with the gallery work or in a simple word, a bulletin board where the student can put their past knowledge or experiences and or write what they have learned. Kasi when we say cognitive, it is relating or involving a conscious intellectual. So we must focus on activity na nag-improve yung cognitive impairment nila, like writing a paragraph and writing a paragraph which they can put what they have learned in the class and which encourage them to discuss what is being taught them. With that, with it to it would help the students how and with that considerations, masasabi natin na magiging successful and they would feel the success at the end of the program kapag na-meet na natin or na-meet na ng mga teachers yung students need. That would be all.
Okay, I just want to emphasize in the learner's cognitive and emotional involvement that praising the students or rewarding them is very important on the learning process. So I think we're all good. So thank you very much for listening to our discussion. We hope that you've learned something. So before we end this discussion, anyone does anyone from my group mate wants to say something?
No,
Okay.
nothing. Wala na.
Okay. Stop ko na yung recording.